On any given day, I take care of a vast number of arboreal pit vipers, and in my opinion, arboreal pit vipers are some of the most attractive snakes in the world. And today we're going to be taking a look at a very large collection of eyelash vipers. Eyelash vipers come in a wide array of colors, from greens to oranges, even reds and blues. So hopefully you will have the time to stick around while I teach you a little bit about the species, and then we can take a closer look at the huge eyelash viper collection. Hey YouTube, how's it going? VenomMan20 here today, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at all the eyelash vipers I keep and work with. So the scientific name for these is Bothriechis schlegeli, and these guys have a little raised scale above the eye that is how they get their name, eyelash vipers. Now, this is not the only species that actually has this raised scale. There's quite a few species. There's quite a few genuses. There's quite a few reptiles that have raised scales above the eye. Bitis cornuta, or all the dwarf bitis, which is a viper from Africa. They have the raised scale. There's Bothriechis superciliaris, which some people say is a subspecies to this, the Bothriechis schlegeli, or the eyelash viper. And other people say that it's not, it's a totally different species. Not exactly sure how it's going to be ranked, but that's beside the point. There's Ophriechus, which also has the raised scale above the eye. I'm not exactly sure, and I'm not sure that science exactly knows why they have the raised scale. In my mind, I kind of think it's because, so it kind of breaks up that line on the face. It kind of gives them the appearance that this isn't a head, it's okay to land here, even though I'm a little bird, you know, just trying to get to the flower. Because this guy will sit right on a flower just waiting for a bird to fly by, and then he'll nail it. But these guys, all in all, don't have too potent of a venom comparative to like the Trimoceras genus, which is quite a bit more toxic. But with that being said, it's a crappy bite. It's something to be very painful. It's a hemotoxic venom. It differs from locality to locality, pretty much of every snake in the world, but just a very neat snake. And they come in all different colors. So let's go ahead and look at all the different colors we have here. So this right here is what we would call a tiger phase, because it has these beautiful stripes along its back, and they're not like real ingrained, but you can tell the speckling of the green on the yellow. It's got some nice pattern to it. I've seen some tiger phases that look more tigery than this guy, but these guys actually have a very large expansive range, and like I said, they are kind of subcategorized up right now because of the superciliaris, which actually overlaps the bushmaster in Costa Rica, the black-headed bushmaster, but just a very, very cool snake. Like I said, they live all the way through the South America's very expansive range. They are a little bit of everywhere, and they do bite a lot of people, from my understanding, because they blend in. A lot of them are not this bright. You know, some of them are green. This guy would blend in very well with bananas. Just a very cool snake. But they don't get too much bigger than this. They'll get just a little bit bigger. But this is an adult. This is a sexually mature animal, which we're actually working on breeding right now. Occasionally we have some accidental babies, but we're going to be breeding quite a few here in the years to come. Very beautiful, very arboreal, very good at climbing a hook. And what's cool is whenever they feel threatened, they will actually open up that mouth and show the inside of their mouth, kind of like a cottonmouth will when they get real worked up, just to be like, hey, look how big I am, you better back off. But I don't ever really take these out just because they're hard to get out, because they love to climb, they love to coil the branches, they don't want to come out and ride a hook. But you do ride a hook very well. I'm proud of you. Should we go show them another color? Ooh, don't get mad. It's okay, buddy. It's okay, little dude. Okay, let's go ahead and get a different color. You are beautiful though. I love the yellows. So you guys might remember this beautiful Christmas tree variation right here. This is Billie Eyelash. I have did a video on her. She is gorgeous. This is probably my favorite eyelash viper. Woo, that was interesting. Never seen that. Wonder if I got that on tape. We'll see in the edit, I guess. But you've got to calm down. I know you didn't want to come out. I get that. But it's okay. You ain't got to be a grumpy pants about it. Get comfortable on the hooks. It's good. You're good. But very beautiful. Like I said, they vary a lot. This one's got a lot of red and a lot of yellow. She's just absolutely gorgeous. We'll get a lot of close-ups of these. We have a lot of babies. I'm not going to pull all the babies out because that's a lot of work. We'll try to get some good close-up shots. You sure are pretty. Look at you. Just gorgeous. Now this is the first arboreal pit viper I actually ever ended up keeping. I got a pair when I was like 18 years old. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying that this is the one that I started out with. I'm very happy that I did because I absolutely love them. Now if you get little tiny babies are very hard to raise because in the wild they only eat frogs. And if you are going to find a good frog breeder, good luck. Frogs are not cheap. So the babies are very hard. Now you can also use little pinky parts, but at the same time that they don't do that very well either at first. So it's just a real chore. I've spent 4 hours trying to feed one baby one day. So you getting ready to poop? Looks like you're getting ready to poop. I knocked the poop out of you? I'm sorry. Just a beautiful snake. Let's go ahead and look at some more. Here is another orange animal, just a gorgeous looking snake. This one was actually coiled up with Billie Eyelash. So I'm not sure how that's all going. You're making a friend? Getting a little something, are you? That'd be cool. I'm not opposed to that. Little baby eyelashes are pretty neat. They come out tiny. So they have live birth. And these little tiny babies come out at 4 inches long-ish, give or take. I've never really measured one, but itty bitty. And they're just so fragile. It's just best not to touch them. Spray them down every other day. Make sure that the bedding doesn't get nasty. Feed them frogs. Just a real pain. But hopefully, here next year, we'll have a bunch of babies to show you. Maybe. You ready to go up? So now I think we're just going to focus on close-ups of all the small ones that I'm not taking out because it's a real chore. I just don't want to stress everybody out. Stressing a couple of them out, I'll do that. But let's not get everybody riled up today. So besides this big yellow female and those first 4 adults that I showed you, those are the biggest ones. I'm going to be showing you the small ones here in a second. Here's the overview of the other 4 that I showed you right off the beginning. That other little yellow one, I just didn't feel like taking her out because she seemed pretty perched up on that limb. But they're just absolutely gorgeous snakes. This one's sitting here in a nice all threat posture. Billie Eyelash disappeared. Little yellow one's behind the branch and that orange one's climbing. But this is one of my favorites. This one's actually about a medium-sized snake. Will probably be ready to breed next year. I've actually bred them this size, but she's still a little young. Just a beautiful red. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my favorites by far. That red just really stands out. Absolutely amazing specimen to look at if I do say so myself. Every time I see her, I'm just like, man, I've got to get a picture of her, but I've got a million pictures of her. She's just so beautiful. That coloration is just gorgeous. They have that nice subocular stripe behind the eye. You can see that pit right before the nose. Just a good looking little snake. Now we keep them with a lot of branches because they're very arboreal. They absolutely love to climb. It's kind of interesting seeing her on the ground right here, but we did just feed them all, so that could be partially what she's doing. Go ahead and spray everybody down while I'm out here filming. If I'm going to pull every cage out, we might as well get everybody watered. Now we do have water dishes in every enclosure, and they do typically drink from these from time to time, but they're more apt to drink from their coils. As you see how the water kind of builds up on the coils, they'll actually drink this water. So I actually spray them down about 3 times a week. Seems to work great. As I've said before, they are live bearers. So you'll actually put the male and the female together, and then all of a sudden there will be little babies everywhere. They will actually cannibalize their own kind, so you got to watch out for that. Now this is your average Christmas tree coloration. Nothing too outstanding like Billie Eyelash, but the colors do change a little bit as they age. Nothing like a green tree python or anything like that. But the reds might become a little bit brighter. Greens might become a little bit greener if we're lucky. But I think that this one has prettied up a little bit since I've been working with it. But just a gorgeous snake. Even the ugliest eyelash viper, in my opinion, is still a pretty good looking snake. So the only ones that I'm not going to show you in this video are the ones that are still in quarantine that I just got. If you check out my giant unboxing venomous reptile thing, you can see all those there. But otherwise, we're going to go through them all. So this is a beautiful little yellow one here. Has a little bit, couple black specks on it. Originally, this animal was completely yellow with no black specks whatsoever. And then he developed these, which is kind of a bummer. I like the all yellow ones, but it gives them a little bit of character, needless to say. This one's a little bit uglier of a Christmas tree, but yet again, it looks pretty interesting because the little brownish pinkish area on the scales. Just, they're all so variable. Like, every one looks a little bit different than the other one. So it's hard not to keep 100 of them because all 100 look like a completely different snake. But just awesome little animals. This is a real nice yellow one, quite a few black spots on it. One thing you gotta watch out is when you're opening up the enclosure, these guys can be little jack in the box. They will spring out, not as bad as like the Bothrops or the Fer-de-Lance, but these will strike from time to time. You can kind of see his jaws moving there. He's getting himself a drink. But they do think about food quite a bit, especially as they get older. It's crazy because as little tiny babies, they won't eat anything. Then as they age, they'll end up eating everything, including your fingertips. But this one right here has very few black spots on it. It's almost completely golden, and it's an older individual, so I don't think he's going to develop many. I think he's going to stay extremely golden, because this animal's actually pretty good size. All these, besides one of them, are eating pinkies on their own, no problem. One of them still likes little frogs and little lizards and stuff like that, which is what they eat into the wild, so we try to offer them what they're used to. There are a few tricks and tips, like you can take a little piece of a pinky and tap on their tail and you can get a feeding response, but that just takes time. This is probably my favorite one right here. Every time I look at this animal, I'm like, oh, it's getting ready to shed. It's going to be super pink next time I see it. It never does shed. It sheds, but it's always just kind of pinkish, orangish, yellowish. I don't know what color to call this besides beautiful, because this is a gorgeous little snake. I absolutely love this one. This one has to be my favorite. I mean, it's beautiful. Every time I look at it, I'm like, man, that is a good looking little eyelash viper. I wish it's just a little bit pinker or a little bit more orange. I don't know. It just looks good. I can't complain. I'm just getting a little bit of a drink there. Just a pretty little snake. So we're going to go ahead and pan up on this one. This is a beautiful little golden eyelash viper. This one doesn't have much coloration besides gold. Like, it has a few spots, but nothing major, almost patternless, no distinct features. If you look, you can see the separation in the scales from the mouse that he just ate. He is kind of chubby. We have quite a few more females than we do males. We're very female heavy, which isn't a bad thing, but it's not great at the same time. Got to get more males into the breeding gene pool. This is a completely different animal. I know it looks a lot the same, but it is not the same animal. It's another little golden phase. A lot of them come out golden phase, and Christmas trees probably the most common. The pinks and the oranges and the yellows are pretty uncommon. Now this one's got some pretty little blotches on him. I don't know, like, I really like it. It's interesting. It's almost polka dots. There's no real rhyme or reason on what's going on. Just a beautiful little snake. These are very high humidity, so it's good that I'm spraying them. Keep bedding into the bottom of the enclosure that'll soak up the excess water. Keep a lot of plants in there, a lot of foliage for them to hide behind. But this little series right here I'm just trying to get you guys, trying to figure out how I'm going to edit together all these videos of the entire collection. Next, we're going to be working on just the rattlesnake room. We're going to be going through all the Montane rattlesnakes and looking at all those. So hopefully you'll make sure you subscribe and follow me. This snake right here is not an eyelash viper. This is just one of my favorite arboreal vipers. This is a beautiful Bothriechis aurifer, or the yellow blotched palm pit viper from Mexico. But I do appreciate you checking out this video. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something. Hopefully you enjoyed the beautiful snakes I had to show you. And like I said, make sure you subscribe so you can see rattlesnakes and everything else here soon. Y'all have a good night.